is no law, and to date, nobody has been able to show that there is a law for the average American citizen working day in and day out to pay an income tax.
But We the People Foundation for Constitutional Education put a full-page ad in the USA Today on July 7, 2000. And within the body of that ad was a $50,000 challenge for anyone that could show the law. And to me, $50,000 is a lot of money. So I went after that and did the research based on the fact that I thought, let's put this baby to bed. I'm hearing all these rumors. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'll answer these people's questions that are asking me, and then I'll win this $50,000. And, based on the research that I did throughout the year 2000 and that I'm still doing, I have not found that law. I've asked Congress. We've asked a lot of people in the IRS commissioners, helpers. They can't answer, because if they answer, the American people are going to know that this whole thing is a fraud.
You ever wake up, check your bank account, and realize somebody else has already been there? The government hits your paycheck like a toxic ex. They take what they want and don't even leave a thank you note. See, when America first started, there was no income tax. You worked, you kept your money, simple. But rich people said, wait, we can't keep this land and control these people without a system. Enter taxes. In 1913, the U.S. passed the 16th Amendment. They told people it's temporary, just to fund the war. Temporary. After the war was over, did the tax leave? Nope. Taxes are like that cousin who visits and never moves out. Not only did the income tax stay, they built an entire agency to enforce it.
There is no law that requires the average American worker in the private sector to pay a direct unapportioned tax on their labor and compensation for services. There is no law.
The only organization that can take your money before you even touch it is the IRS. And if you don't give it to them, they'll take your house, your paycheck, your future. Sounds a lot like slavery with paperwork.
I really expected that, of course, there's a law that you can point to in the law book, the code that requires you to file a tax return. Of course there is. Maybe I don't know what it is right then as he was speaking to me, but sure. So naively, I agreed to go off and research it and get back to him. 3.5 months later, I was at that point where I couldn't find the statute that clearly made a person liable, at least not me and most people I know. And I had no choice in my mind except to resign.
I had to leave the IRS.
Hold up. You're working hard, getting taxed, and stressed out. Why not build something that makes your own money? Wealthy affiliate. If the government can't take money from you, you should at least have another string they can't touch. Wealthy affiliate teaches you how to build an online business, monetize your passions, and learn real digital marketing. You can start free, no credit card, no excuses. Click the link in the pinned comment section below and start something that's yours. Because if the IRS is going to stress you out, at least let passive income calm you down. Now, back to the story at hand.
Because I presented evidence that I had accumulated indicating that the agency was violating the law and violating people's rights. And I asked the agency for a response to my sincere concerns. And the answer I got was that they would not respond to my concerns and that they would provide me with the paperwork necessary to tender my resignation.
You can look through the statutes and look for the law that requires you to pay. And when you do that, you can't identify a law that requires the average person in America who earns a wage and works in private business to pay an income tax.
American citizens, along with the foundation, have been asking the IRS to specifically provide them with the underlying legal foundation upon which they administer and enforce the personal income tax laws in our country.
At the national level, when people would attempt to contact somebody of a much higher authority, say the commissioner, same kind of thing. They would get answers that were in effect non-answers.
You have to understand that an agency which will unlawfully impose a tax that doesn't exist is not going to care. If we, the people, don't know what our rights are, They're not going to tell us.
Now they realize something. You don't need chains when people will willingly trap themselves with loans, credit cards, student loans, car loans. They don't want you educated. They want you educated enough to get a job and pay taxes, but not educated enough to escape the system.
Paying taxes got to be the biggest scam of all time. So let me get this right. You go to the store and you buy something and you got to pay taxes on it. You work 40 hours a week, but you don't get your entire paycheck because you got to get taxes taken out. You become an entrepreneur, but wait, all that money is not your money because 30% goes directly to Uncle Sam. You buy a house, it's yours. You fully pay it off, but you still got to pay property taxes on it. Something's not adding up. And the only reason I even bring this up is because I read this book right here called The Fair Tax Book. This book literally solved one of the biggest problems, and that's getting rid of the IRS. If you don't think there's a real problem when it comes to taxes, next time you get your paycheck, I want you to look at how much you really should have got paid. The problem is we don't got enough people that are educated enough to make a change. What's suggested in this book is a system for the billionaires just to make more money and the lower class people just to get poor. But a systematic approach that truly benefits everybody to get the maximum of what they earn. If you ain't willing to learn the game, don't be complaining when you're struggling over money. Quick read, and I'm telling you, it's going to put you on game to make the IRS a thing of the past. I'm going to go ahead and link it below right here in the orange card so that you can grab yours.
If slavery was chains, debt is the new rope. And what does every rope lead to? Interest, stress, working until you're 75 because Karen at HR said your PTO got denied.
If Americans just learned that the IRS was actually knowingly deceiving them, that would be enough for them to rise up and put a stop to it.
100% of what is collected is absorbed solely by interest on the federal debt. All individual income tax revenues are gone before 1 nickel is spent on the services taxpayers expect from government. People have been told, that you need this income tax system to fund government, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, my question is, well, if that's true, how did we fund government from 1776 to 1913?
The main purpose of the income tax is not to raise revenue, but to redistribute wealth and to control society.
A lot of people might say, well, gee, if there wasn't an income tax, what would happen to education? They don't understand that education is paid for the most part, out of state and local taxes, your property tax. People might say, well, how are we going to build and maintain our highways? If there's no money coming into the government, we need our highways. There is a tax on every gallon of gasoline that people buy. Proceeds from the income tax do not pay for highway construction.
Rich people don't pay taxes. Rich people shelter money. They own businesses. They own trusts. They own real estate. Corporations get tax write-offs. You buy a laptop, it's an expense. Jeff Bezos buys a yacht, it's a deduction. Meanwhile, regular people get, congrats, you're in a higher tax bracket. So you're telling me the more I work, the more they take? That's not a bracket, that's punishment for trying to do better.
I believe that in both spirit and substance, our tax system has come to be un-American. Death and taxes may be inevitable, but unjust taxes are not.
This small booklet includes the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. This is a document that every citizen should read. It's a document which freed an entire nation. This is the Internal Revenue Code, and this document and the unlawful application of this document by the Internal Revenue Service has enslaved the nation that this document attempted to free.
There is no law.
So what did we learn today? Number 1, taxes were created to control the working class. 2, debt replaced slavery. And 3, the rich don't pay taxes, the workers do. Now, if you want freedom, don't ask the system to loosen the chains. Learn how to stop giving it power. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Episode 7 drops soon. The Money Illusion, Why Dollars Aren't Real. And remember, in America, they don't need to own people. They just need to own the time people spend earning money. But before we go, let me put you onto something that actually makes sense. One United Bank is the largest black-owned bank in America. Yeah, a bank that actually gives a damn about us. While other banks are busy charging fees just for breathing near the ATM, One United is out here teaching financial literacy, building generational wealth, and keeping money circulating in the community. Let me break it down. One, they have full online banking so you can ditch the shady big banks. Two, no ridiculous minimum balance required. Three, and you're supporting a bank that supports you. I mean, why give your money to banks that invest in systems working against us when you could put your money somewhere that works for you and with you? Go ahead, click the link below under the wealthy affiliates in the pinned comment section below. Because if we're going to be in this financial system, at least bank somewhere that actually wants to see you win. One United Bank, where your money is treated like it belongs to you. This is my unapologetic opinion, and I said what I said. Bye.